The Ukrainian city of Odessa has been without power for 2 days following Russian strikes.
7 weeks after the national elections, coalition negotiations have begun in Austria.
The European Union won't suspend the political dialogue with Israel, as no agreement has been reached during the Foreign Affairs Council on Monday.
The southern Ukrainian city of Odessa has been without power for 2 days, following Russian attacks which damaged critical infrastructure. Emergency power outages have been introduced across the region and some facilities have been switched to generators.
Надіємося, що світло появиться. Води не було цілий день зранку і десь до 6-ї, до 7-ї вечора не було води.
Invincibility points have been set up across the city, where heat, water and electricity is being provided.
Як тільки в них є потреба, буквально 5 хвилин, і вони починають свою роботу. Вчора зранку потреба почалась, тому що люди почали до нас йти. Від ДСНС на території міста Одеса та Одеської області 45 пунктів незламності, які розгорнуті саме на базах пожежних частин. Людей сказати прямо, що їх дуже багато, то ні, але вони є постійно.
Efforts to restore the region's power supply are ongoing.
Slovakian and Hungarian politicians strongly condemned the decision by US President Joe Biden to allow Ukraine to strike targets inside Russia with American-supplied longer-range missiles. Slovakia's populist Prime Minister Robert Fico said the decision was made with the clear aim to completely thwart or delay peace talks.
Ide o bezprecedentnú eskaláciu napätia. Ide o rozhodnutie, ktoré marí nádeje na začatie akýchkoľvek mierových rokovaní a ukončenie vzájomného zabíjania Slovanov na Ukrajine.
Hungary's foreign minister also lashed out against the decision, saying the move could serve to escalate the war and threaten the outbreak of a global conflict.
Elképesztően veszélyes ötlet, amely a háború továbbterjedésének rendkívül súlyos veszélyével jár. Aztán itt van az ukránok követelése és egyes NATO tagországok megengedő véleménye Ukrajna NATO meghívásával kapcsolatban, amely pedig teljesen egyértelműen a harmadik világháború reális veszélyét hozná szintén nagyon közel.
The shift in policy added an uncertain new factor to Russia's full-on invasion of Ukraine, with the Kremlin warning the decision adds fuel to the fire of the war and would escalate international tensions even further.
Coalition negotiations have officially begun in Austria following several rounds of exploratory talks. 7 weeks after the national elections, a preliminary decision on Austria's future government was made on Monday. The far-right Freedom Party won the national elections in September. However, Austria's federal president gave the mandate to form a government to the runner-up, Karl Nehammer of the Austrian People's Party, as no party was willing to work together with the FPÖ and its party head Herbert Kickl.
Ich darf Sie heute informieren, dass wir die Sondierungsphase abgeschlossen haben und formell Regierungsverhandlungen mit SPÖ und NEOS aufnehmen. Gleichzeitig möchte ich klarstellen, dass wir noch nicht am Ziel jetzt einer Koalition oder eines gemeinsamen Regierungsprogrammes angekommen sind. Wir gehen jetzt in tiefe Regierungsverhandlungen, die ganz viele Detailbereiche berührt. Der Ausgang dieser Verhandlungen ist nach wie vor weiterhin offen.
Nehammer's coalition with the Social Democrats and Liberals excludes the FPÖ. A three-party alliance, as is being proposed, would be a first in Austria.
Clean-up efforts continue following severe flooding in Spain's Valencia region, with sewer blockages now the main concern for authorities. Workers have been attempting to free up the sewers for about a week, injecting water to soften the mud and absorb it through another pipe. So far, 60% of Pipewater's 75-kilometre sewage system has been cleared, but the sewers are still not being drained.
Tenemos un problema grande de atasco del alcantarillado en Paiporta. Están trabajando más de 25 máquinas en intentar resolver el problema. Por eso no podemos sacar ahora mismo, echar agua ni residuos a las alcantarillas porque empeoraríamos el problema.
There are also garages that are still full of mud, which can cause leaks in the drinking water network. However, Spain's public health says few infections have been detected, and those that have been are only minor. The mayor of Amsterdam has backtracked on her use of the word pogrom to describe the violence which erupted following the Ajax Maccabi Tel Aviv football match in the Dutch capital. Speaking to Dutch state media on Sunday, Femke Halsema expressed her dismay that the term had subsequently been manipulated to serve political agendas.
Ik moet wel zeggen dat ik in de dagen daarna heb gezien hoe het woord pogrom heel politiek werd en eigenlijk tot propaganda werd. De Israëlische regering die spreekt over een Palestijnse pogrom in de Amsterdamse straten. In politiek Den Haag wordt het woord pogrom vooral gebruikt om Marokkaanse Amsterdammers, moslims, te discrimineren. Zo heb ik het niet bedoeld.
It comes as Moroccan-born Dutch Finance Secretary Noura Akaba announced her resignation following comments made by the government's hard-right leader Geert Wilders. Last Wednesday, Wilders blamed Moroccans for attacks on the Israeli football fans, claiming that we saw Muslims hunting Jews and adding that it was fueled by Moroccans who want to destroy Jews. He also said those convicted of involvement should be deported if they have dual nationality.
The European Union won't suspend the political dialogue with Israel, as no agreement has been reached during the Foreign Affairs Council held this Monday in Brussels. The proposal came from Josep Borrell, the European Union's foreign policy chief, who pointed out violations of human rights and international law in the Gaza Strip. As the suspension of political dialogue depends on unanimity among member states, Borrell's plan didn't pass. The Cypriot foreign minister told Euronews that it was neither the right time nor the right way to put the issue on the table.
Δημιουργείται εύλογα το ερώτημα κατά πόσον είναι η κατάλληλη χρονική στιγμή για να δημιουργηθεί για να προκύψει μια τέτοια συζήτηση, δεδομένου ότι στο ενδεχόμενο των ορατών να μην καταλήξουμε, ενισχύεται αυτή η αντίληψη περί διάσπασης ως προς τις απόψεις. Άρα, εάν γνωρίζεις από πριν, διότι υπάρχουν ενδείξεις, ότι κάτι τέτοιο δεν θα έχει θετική κατάληξη, πρέπει να προσμετρηθεί και η επίδραση που τούτον έχει στην εντύπωση τρίτων.
Given that the lack of majority seemed obvious, why did Borrell put the issue on the table? According to analysts, he was trying to leave his mark before a new European Commission takes office.
I think that to an extent this is an initiative that comes out of months of political frustrations that not only the High Representative but some member states have felt where Europe has been literally unable to take a clear stand vis-à-vis of this conflict. So to a certain extent, Borrell, who is outgoing from his mandate, this will be his last foreign council minister. So I think that this is like an attempt also from him to sort of leave a mark and leave a positive legacy.
In the near future, much will depend on the new US administration, as some ministers acknowledged at the end of the meeting.
Hungary's controversial child protection law, widely criticised as being anti-LGBT, is appearing before the EU's Court of Justice. The law proclaims zero tolerance for convicted paedophiles. However, it also heavily restricts depictions of homosexuality and gender reassignment in media content and educational material addressed to audiences under age 18. The legislation therefore came under fire for conflating pedophilia with homosexuality, as the text's stated purpose is to strengthen the protection of children against sex offenders. A political backlash was triggered, with countries signing joint letters and prime ministers openly voicing their discontent with Hungarian counterpart Viktor Orban. The European Commission referred Hungary to the EU's Court of Justice, claiming that the Hungarian law violates fundamental rights enshrined within the bloc's law.
It's the start of the second and final week here at COP29 in Baku, which promises to be the most crucial one, with a final agreement expected in the coming days. Climate ministers have stepped in to help advance negotiations, while campaign groups and climate activists have expressed frustration over the slow progress in the talks. On Monday, the UN climate chief emphasized the importance of ensuring this COP delivers greater financial support for building climate resilience and adaptation. In their first press conference of the second week, the EU Commissioner for Climate reaffirmed that the EU will continue to lead and engage. He also stressed the critical need to raise additional funds to support those in need.
It is the start of a long week of negotiations, and these things, as we all know, are never easy. But we do have a job to do, so let's get it done. It is a combination of raising more money and more truly implies that more countries need to take their responsibility.
The focus remains on Article 6.
Which can bring additional financing capabilities based on market mechanisms. So I think combination of many things that could help us to progress.
Austria took this opportunity to call on the COP presidency to bring all parties together and deliver concrete results in the talks over the course of this week. Giorgio Orlandi at COP29 in Baku.